Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hang out with these nerds.
Nathan Nerdarch.
Nerdarch is Ted.
And Nerdarchy is going to tell you why we think it's so awesome to be gamers.
Jump down to the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
While you're down there, you can find the Nerdarchy GoFundMe link to send Nerdarchy to LA to do GM tips for Geek and Sundry. All of your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. So we wanted to do a video kind of inspired about this trip coming up to LA, like some of the things that we're excited about, right? So, okay, hanging out with Rudy Rutenberg and Satine Phoenix is going to be freaking amazing and very cool in itself because they're just great people. I'm hoping, we don't have it scheduled yet, but I'm hoping we get to play some D&D with them and maybe even film it. I don't know. They like a high level of production value, and that's not really Nerdarchy style.
Maybe somebody else can film it.
Right, but we're hoping that we can do some fan hangouts while we're there because we've done them in the past, and we'd like to share some of that with you guys because it is one of the things that makes being a gamer and playing Dungeons & Dragons so effing cool for us.
Literally, we've done a handful of trips and things where we've actually had a chance to meet awesome and interesting people, as well as play D&D with some of these people that we just met.
Yeah, some of our early experiences are literally us going to a convention, right? Local convention, meeting up with some of the fans. They're hanging out. We're all staring at each other, going, what do you want to do now? And I don't know, what do you want to do now? And it's like, well, you're hanging out with Nerdarchy. We know what you want. We know what you want. We got what you need. That's right. We got that D20, baby. And then we're like, let's go back to Ted's. I like Ted. They might be stalkers that murder your family later. I don't know. But let's go play some Dungeons & Dragons.
But they said they're fans, so let's go.
Yeah. It worked out good. Ted has not been murdered yet, nor has his family. So we came back here and we played. Man, I know we did 2 games. I just don't remember them both. I know the one was the Halloween game, which I had a lot of fun with that because I killed Ted and a fan.
You killed Ted and intern Kyle.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Before he was an intern.
That was my first and only 5th edition character death.
Nice. So, yeah, and that was totally ran off the cuff, off the fly. I'm like, it's Halloween. It's got to be horror themed. What can I do? And I did this, you can find the game, actually, on the channel somewhere. It's like our Halloween special, blah, blah, blah.
Or other haunted carriage that I think after we defeated it, it blew up and did enough damage that it just took me straight to negatives.
Necro bomb. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. I don't remember what the first game was that we played here, though.
It was, I think it was the year previous or 6 months prior to that. It was also after a local convention.
Did you play the Maze of Mandoon? No?
I have no idea. It's got to be recorded somewhere.
So many games. Yeah. Which one is which?
Dave's run the Maze of Mandoon a number of times.
I have. It's true. You caught me. Or did Ted run a game?
I ran a game on the cruise ship when we went to the Fantasy cruise this past January. And I got to run a game for some Nerdarchy fans, one of which was the awesome cruise giveaway winner that we had given out, as well as some of the awesome fans that we had linked up with, and new friends as well.
Well, yeah, you literally got to play with Alex from Australia, who is a fan of ours, a super cool guy. The mans were in the game.
Yeah, Matt
and his brother. Who probably has a name that's not my brother or his brother, but I just don't recall it. I think it's just sort of J or something. Then we had
Brian Stillman,
who's kind of a little bit of a celebrity. He did the Plastic Galaxy documentary, and he is now working on Art of D&D, Eye of the Beholder. Super cool guy. Also, Tim was in it, and he's like an editor that does some work with Goodman Games, I believe. So very cool.
And then our friend who had moved out of state was in the game as well, our friend Matt.
Oh, yeah. So it's just another way the game brings people together, because you guys all road tripped down to Florida, and you stopped and grabbed him on the way. I don't know if they even bothered telling his wife or not. There might have been a white panel van involved. I'm not sure. Maybe not. I think Matt would be hard to carry away.
It was a white vehicle. It definitely was white.
Yeah.
We lured him in with D20s and PHBs.
Nice. Not candy.
Well,
Candy and puppies.
He actually did leave the trip with my PHB, but that's another story.
Curse you.
That's where the PHB went.
No, that was a different one.
Yeah.
Ted struggles with PHBs. No, so there was that, and then also in Tampa, I set up a meetup for fans down there, and we had a handful of players. We had 4 players plus Nerdarchy Ryan, and that game was a ton of fun. The two young guys that showed up for the game, they're like 19 and like 20. They played Tabaxi Brothers, and they were hilarious.
Oh, one of the players in your game that was for his birthday, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was his birthday. He actually kind of helped instigate that because he like messaged. He's like, it's my birthday. I can't go on the cruise. It'd be so cool to meet you guys. And I'm like, well, I'll see what I can do, right? So I put it out there. People want to show up. So what Nerdarchy did is we actually rented a room in the hotel, and it had a kitchen and everything. We went out and bought a bunch of like gourmet pizzas, and we played some Dungeons and Dragons. And it was funny because his brothers, their characters were brothers, and they cracked me up because I had the adventure kind of take place in this like in a well underneath the village, and like there was like these waterways and stuff. They're like, you knew we were playing Tabaxi, didn't you? And like they're totally playing like they're like cats that hate water. So so that part was a lot of fun. They were really amusing.
Oh, the saddest part about that whole thing is we don't have that game recorded.
Oh yeah, we do. It's on the channel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
bitches!
I'm like, I had the camera.
I recorded it with the webcam.
Oh, nice.
So it is there, and it will live for prosperity. Actually, the thing I am most disappointed, I forgot to get pictures with all those guys. And it was so cool and weird at the same time. They're like,
can you sign my book?
I have my PHB. I never signed so many freaking PHBs. And then once one of them started, it was like the floodgates just
like,
broke.
My hand hurts.
Yeah, I know. Like, we need a special pen or something. This is crazy.
You could see, like, I wasn't there, but I could imagine like the trepidation, with the first person. And once that barrier was crossed, everybody's like, all right, I'm in line. I got all 3 books.
Yeah, there was no going back then. Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was great getting to meet those guys down in Tampa, and like that's what's so awesome about this hobby. Like you don't have to know each other. You can be from different walks of life, but you're like D&D, yeah, D&D, and then like you've got that connector.
So with this trip that's coming up in July, like we want to actually do a bit of the same thing. We want to be like, all right, well,
maybe more.
That's true. Like so. As Dave said in the beginning, we have that link for the GoFundMe, and we're looking to be able to take that and actually be able to go out and meet our fans that are out there on the West Coast that might be able to be within close proximity or willing to drive a little bit as to where we're going to be, so that we can set this up, not only so that we have a chance to meet you, learn your awesome stories, and build a friendship that I'm certain some of you guys out there feel because you spend so much time with us.
We get to then spend some time with you.
Right. And then at the same time, we can run some games, we can hang out.
We'll even sign some PHBs without making it weird. But you know what? There's other stories too that we even touched on, like Philly's Game Con. Like it was like one of the first cons I actually went to.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little sad that they stopped having them. They only had it the 1 year. I thought it seemed like to me like it was fairly successful.
Right. I don't know why it didn't take off, why it didn't continue.
But here's what I do know. I ran 2 games, right? I ran one. They kind of dicked me with that con too. They had me run one at like the opening night and then the next morning. So I was like,
So you clopened.
Yeah, well, not really, because it wasn't like the beginning and the end.
Well,
but yeah, but it was great because I got like it was great and it was weird at the same time. That's where I met Natalie and her husband Delmar, and she looks over me. She's like, "We came to the game with you." I'm like, it was weird. It was kind of crazy, right? In a good way.
That was my first bathroom handshake.
Yeah, they're like, "You're Nathan Nerdarchy, oh my god!" And you're like, I got my junk in my hand.
Well, no, all right.
He said,
"Whoa, Dave!
That's not the picture I want to paint. It just happened to be in the bathroom. And it was really cool to meet somebody that knew me, but I didn't know them.
Yeah, you thought they were waiting for the urinal, but it turns out they wanted to shake your hand. Like, whoa, buddy, let me wash my hands first, at least.
So they said hi. It was really cool, but I wasn't expecting that because I mean, but then later after I had started playing in the games, it turns out that there were several fans in both of the games for me, and I also. One of the memorable things was during one of the games we actually went beyond. Well, my game's going one shot's going beyond the time limit's not a surprise for my games, but we ended up hanging back at the one of the people's hotel room that was playing. So we ended up playing for like another hour and a half.
I think they were just trying to lure him back to the room.
It was very unsinister compared to what Dave likes to imagine.
And my way's more fun.
and in one of those games, it was really cool because I had 2 teenagers in that game, so it was nice to see young players with their family members also playing.
I think one of your teenagers was a tween.
Okay, so not even
Eli, because Eli was in all of our games. Like
Yeah.
he was a serial fan, right? Because he played in all of our D&D games, which was really cool. And,
so
and
he was very young.
yeah, and it also realized there's some really bad parents out there letting them watch Nerdarchy videos. What are you thinking, man? Like, but it was funny because Eli's like, I think he was like 11 or 12, and it was really cool. And him and his dad played in my game. I think that was like the first night, and then they played in your game. He might have played in both of my games. Like, I think the one might have been short players. I'm not even sure, but he's like, he was a fan. Like, he knew us from YouTube, and I'm looking at his dad. I'm like, and looking at him, going,
You let him watch this stuff?
You let him watch. He's like, ah.
Well, hey, if you bleep out Ryan and Dave, it's pretty much cool.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Nate and I tend to try and keep it a little bit more closer to the PG rating.
I excel at PG rating.
Dave likes to push the boundaries.
I do not excel at PG rating.
But I do look like, when we went to these games, I went to the Games Con, I got to game with some fans more as a player than as a GM. I did run one game there that was Fate Accelerated, and I don't believe any of the players in that game really knew who Nerdarchy was, but perhaps after the fact they were.
Yeah, so all of those instances were really cool, and I'm looking forward to like more, like doing that a lot more. Like, it's so cool to connect with people, and even if like, all right, so like our experience is a little different than yours because we have a YouTube channel and we've had a little bit of a success with it, but it's still really cool to go all over the place and play games with people you've never met before, and you have this connecting factor, which is D&D. It's like, it's like this big extended family of people that you never knew you were related to.
Well, there's a camaraderie that's built in, and when while nerd culture is on the rise of what's socially acceptable, it's still not there. It's still not like D&D is the coolest thing ever. Well, I might think so. Main culture doesn't think so. There's still far more supporters for the NFL and the MLB and whatever have you. So by us doing this and we go out and meet people, you've got, even if you don't know who the other person is, when you're a D&D player, you can instantly, let's start getting into a conversation. Favorite race, favorite class. We get this stuff all the time. But you can get into character stories and how often do you play? What are you playing right now? It just goes on and on and on with, where you can take these conversations.
I think there's like one other thing too that we probably wanted to mention too, like during your road trip. You guys like used that excuse to kind of like sidetrack and hang out with our chief and editor on the website, Ty Johnson. But if it wasn't for D&D, we wouldn't have a YouTube channel. And if it wasn't for that, we would have never met Ty.
That's right. I've met so many people because of Nerdarchy and because of the things that we've done with this channel that like I can't connect all the strings. It's just too crazy.
Like another one is Scott Garibay, right? We met him at Yo-Yo Club because we were doing the Nerdarchy thing, and we're checking that out. And then I was wearing a Cthulhu shirt, and he's like, "Oh, you like Cthulhu? I like Cthulhu too. Oh, this is amazing. Do you D&D? I D&D. Oh my god!" And then we're like best buds.
In fact, we're hanging out with him tonight.
We are. So there are so many great things that this hobby has given to us. And we just want to share a few of them with you guys. And we're hoping to make some more memories when we head out to LA. And hopefully you guys will join us. While you're down in the comments, leaving your own experiences because of this amazing hobby, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Check out the articles over at nerdarchy.com.
And please, if you're willing and able, please take a look at our GoFundMe page and help us be able to get out to LA to go film with Jam Tips.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.